this beginning of this thing is gonna be a budget meeting, then we're gonna go right into the meeting, okay? Is all right with y'all? Thank y'all. All right, this is 2019, 2020 budget.
Yes, it's in my.
I hate to ask you this, did she make all those changes in there?
Should be,
Like,
they're at the back.
okay.
The amendments are, should be close to the back.
That's the amendments.
If you would just get up and say where they made the changes and stuff like that, so everybody here. I'm sorry, I didn't tell you that earlier.
All the changes that have been discussed at the last meeting, all of that was changed. And then the amended budget from last year is also in there too.
Okay.
Yeah, everything that you guys talked about at the last meeting.
So they moved that $50,000
Right.
to streets, and
Yes.
did they get the money for the Chief Borowski one for the budget?
Yes, all his money
Okay.
got adjusted to.
And no raising taxes at all?
No.
Can I ask the question, can we get this here in the streets and sidewalks, is this what you're talking about? I've only seen $3,000.
That's the amended budget for last year.
Okay.
That's the.
Okay, I ain't got that, but I won't hear last meeting, so.
Here's your.
It should be.
It should be
Should be
in
the
the
tag.
packet.
It's got a
It's
yellow.
got a yellow tag on it.
Okay, I got you.
Chief, you see this line item right here?
I didn't get a call.
I think there's some.
I need a meeting. Appropriate, police bill, 30,000.
I'm sorry, Kelly.
No, it's okay.
And then you should lose it to this is, if you get right at first, please. Call. Police call. And I just need somebody, whenever y'all look at it, make a motion.
What was his, what's his department, when you showed the police department, what's his department?
Well,
Five
yeah,
one,
but
510.
but that's just 510, but what I was showing him was where they moved the money for the police car. And it's on line item 382. 382.
I could see, there you go, if I could see it.
Yep. Yep.
It's different.
That's the meeting on the company. So it's gonna send you guys one, so you can see what it looks like. That's the meeting cover.
Where was month? Can we, is there any way we can make that amendment and then just, I think we made that amendment tonight and then just pass the budget tonight and just, we'll have it passed,
Okay.
correct?
All right.
If somebody doesn't, if y'all feel like.
Well, it should have been in there from last year, because we increased that to $14,000 in that particular
Okay.
walk.
Okay.
It should have been in there
All
anyhow.
right, well, that's fine with me. He just asked me, you know.
Okay, well, I remember now.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Deb, for your hard work.
You're welcome.
And Becky too, she's not here. We gonna vote on this. Don't we vote on this? Okay, well, we'll wait till the meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Nobody got any questions about this?
Anybody?
Yes.
Okay, this time we're gonna close the meeting and then get right on in. We're gonna open another meeting up. Okay, thank you for coming to our June 2019 meeting, monthly meeting. We're gonna start it out. First of all, I'd like to welcome all y'all. It's a hot day today. First up is the financial statement. The approval of the minutes and the financial statements. Financial statement for May 2019, regular meeting minutes for May 20, 2019, and then approve the 2019 budget, 2019-2020 budget, and the 2018-2019 budget amendment.
I make a motion that we accept the financial statements for May 2019 and the regular meeting minutes for May 20th, 2019.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the 2019-2020 budget and the 2018-2019 budget amendment.
I make a motion that we accept and approve the 2019-2020 budget.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right. Whatever.
Motion to approve the.
We already did that, right? Didn't we put it? Okay, okay. Now we just got stuck on the amendment to the 2018-2019. So whoever wants to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the budget amendment for the 2018-2019 budget amendment.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, first up tonight on the agenda, we have Joe Dooley, Upper Coastal Plains.
Mayor, members of the board, members of the public, about 10 days ago, the mayor and Commissioner Finch, Richard Moore from McDavid and I sat down and we tried to come up with a proposed target area for the community development block grant. You already have a grant pending, which we should hear on approximately a month from now. And the community development block grant is a different type of grant entirely in that it's income related. So what we try to do is, as is in your resolution in front of you, pick the streets based on need and the likelihood that when we do income and need surveys, which I'll address in a minute, we can score well enough. The need is there, but a critical part of this type of application is the low and moderate income of the residents. So the map that's appended to the resolution, basically, we set up, this is a target, okay, but we have to list the streets. It's a new regulation required, and that's why we listed them. It doesn't mean that it can't be changed or it won't be back based on the surveys, which I'll explain. So what we sort of came up with was Peel, all or portions of these streets. Peel, Jordan, Oak, Williams, Elm, Lee, and left out something there. Better off looking at the streets resolution. Jordan, School, and William, and Elm and Lee, I said. Those are the streets that we believe will work out when we do the surveys. Now, as I mentioned to the commissioner and the mayor and commissioner, as the case may be, the surveys are what are called income and need surveys. That means that someone from our office and someone from the town, whether it be a representative of the police department or whatever, will visit every house in this target area. And everyone there will be asked HUD questions, income and need. You'll be asked what your income is, and you'll be asked to be able to demonstrate it. And if you say get lost or goodbye or no, that automatically means you're over income. That disqualifies, if enough of those, the town's out of business insofar as this grant. So as I explained to the mayor and the commissioner, people say, well, that's my private business. It is. Those results will stay with the COG, Upper Coastal Plain Council of Government, until they're asked. They won't be in town at all, other than to be taken here. They'll be sent to Raleigh Division of Water Infrastructure, and they will verify the information which we obtained and sent in. So if the board adopts the resolution tonight, and we'll start with these streets, you'll receive some further notice, whether it be by not tax bill, water, sewer bill, or whatever, that on such and such a date, we will start this survey. And I can't overemphasize it. If people dog us, people say no, people say we're not going to give you information, just write it off. And if we can't get the number, and I explained to the mayor and commissioner that right now it appears based on the last 5 or 6 that the town's going to have to score somewhere pretty close to in the high 80s and low and moderate to be scoring well enough to receive a grant. This is an absolute grant. It will be $2 million over a 3-year period. And we have the ability, if these streets don't work, we'll come back for another resolution, amend it, amend the area, and like I said, all or some of these streets, okay? Depends, there might be a pocket there where people are all over income, so we'll just draw an arbitrary line and avoid it, okay? Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
You said it's based on the income, right?
Yes, solely.
So on the incomes, do you have a range as far as what it is?
There is a Department of Housing and Urban Development puts out, I'm not dogging you, I'm telling you the way it is, puts out a guideline every January. And it's premised upon how many people live in that residence. So arbitrarily, if there are, I don't have a copy of it with me, but if there's a 2-person family, that 2-person family would be eligible probably up into the area of $35,000. If it gets up to about 50, then you can need about 10 people to keep them eligible. So it's based on the number of people in the household, the income of all of the people in the household. Income includes Social Security, disability, unemployment, whatever, any type of income at all. It's not an asset test. The person could have $1 million house and could be eligible based on the income. And the income is set by the counties in each county. So we would come out with whatever is the income. It's a little higher, by the way, in Nash than it is in, say, in Wilson. So someone in Wilson County may say, oh, we were eligible. And in Nash County, since the income is a little different, you may not be eligible. But there's no room for any playing or any gamesmanship in that. It's an absolute, and we will have that appended to or included in each survey, so when the people look at it and provide their income, they can see whether they qualify or not. But if they don't look at it, they don't sign it, they don't qualify, you say, we're in trouble.
Question?
Yes, sir.
So you said the survey will go to through mail to them?
No.
I'm sorry. So how's the
Someone
procedure?
from our office and a representative of the town who people know will go to the house. No mail.
So there'll be one visit, no follow-up visit, in case they say the first time no.
If they say no, there'll be no follow-up. If they say they want to think about it or whatever, an absolute no is finished. No one's going back. But someone may know, the husband may be home and the wife might be the wage earner, salary earner, and not sure of the income, or doesn't want to disclose it, or vice versa. You know, sometimes people like to have everybody there. But no, we're not going back. If they say no, it's no, unless they come to the town hall and say that they've reconsidered.
Because I know if, you know, you show up on a step, and you're asking for that kind of information, at first, first thought is like, you know, but if there's something to warm them up, that, hey,
Well, that's why I
you're
said
coming.
that everybody here knows, and there'll be something sent out. We can send a letter out. I mean, whatever works for the town, that's no problem.
Okay.
Letting them know we're coming, and I can put the income guidance in there, have it put in there, it won't be a problem. We can get that out, get it clear quickly. But it's, you know, it's a lot to ask of someone, but $2 million interest-free, and you have been under moratorium now for 15 or 16 years, I don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
This is a good way of going about it, and I mentioned to the mayor and commissioner that we will hear, the beauty of this and doing it now and doing it right is that we will hear in the middle of next month, presumably around the 10th, as to how you made out with the first application, the non-CDBG. What we can do, if that doesn't work out, we can roll that. That comes up in September again. So that's not a conflict. It'd be $3 million there and $2 million in this, you know, interest-free. So, and I have talked to the gentleman from the Raleigh Regional Office who's sending you those notices as recently as last Friday, and he's cognizant that you have one pending and that we met and we're going to have another going. So I think he understands that now you're really trying to do something. I think he can't tell you to work with you, but he won't work against you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
See you soon.
One more
Yes.
question. So could you just explain, so if we're successful in getting this grant, what that would do?
This grant will, as we perceive it, okay?
Right.
It will replace failing collection lines, sanitary sewer lines. It'll address the problems with the force main. There's some issues going there. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know. It'll allow us to take care of existing manholes that are leaking. And as we see how things, there might be some street that has problems that, you know, other don't. And we'll mend it that way. This is not, it won't be written in stone until the mayor signs the dotted line with your authority, obviously, as to what the exact project is. So we're talking about force main, sanitary sewer line, and manholes right now.
Second question. I know we had some re-sleeving, like the street behind us, Vance Extension was re-sleeved. We just paved the street. And it was sleeved 2005, 2006. Will that one have to be tore up, or will we have a list?
Okay.
Because that's gonna really affect what streets we pave.
Well,
In
what
a way.
I would wait a little bit as to what you're paving. This will repave to the portion, as will the grant that's pending, as in proportion to what is torn up to put the lines in.
It's never
You
done
don't,
back
you
right.
don't get the whole street.
I know, but it's never done that right.
So what I would suggest is you'll hear probably, you know, a month, give or take, on the Clean Water State Revolving Fund. That would that wouldn't kick in. It kicks in pretty quick. The CDBG takes a while. I'm not speaking for the engineer, but if you receive that grant, and I don't remember the streets we're talking about, that would go. You'd probably be under construction within a year, probably. Well, because there's no environmental compliances. The CDBG has a whole list of things, hoops they have to go through. And even if you receive this, we'll put this in September, if you receive it next March, April, it'll be a year and a half to 2 years before you're in the ground. That sort of help it. We can take
I
this.
mean, we're gonna really have to find out what they're gonna do to then avoid them streets.
Yes. Well, you determine the streets. I mean,
Yeah.
Rich will make recommendations to you, but that's why I just answered Commissioner Finch with, the mayor will sign it, what you authorize him to sign, and you pick the streets. But I'll have input on that only because if he picks a street where they're all over income and it throws us out of whack, I'm gonna suggest you don't go with that street. Pretty quickly.
How many grants are currently in the pipeline that are
We
on the
have
radar
the-
that are currently being, and then currently in the future, like?
Right now, you have the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, which you approved when I was here the last time it was filed. And that, hopefully, we will hear next month. That, you know, goes back and forth. The CDBG, this one would go in September, and you would hear next February, March, whatever. But I'm a big believer in getting a town into the system, and getting into the system, you just keep revolving. So if that doesn't work, and it wasn't for $3 million, I forget the exact amount, but if that was like 2.8, what we would do in September anyhow, we'd go in for 120,000, we'd find a pump station or something, and try and keep it close to that $3 million max, year in and year out. And the engineering firm that's working with you on these understands that a milestone, which they use as a term, doesn't mean that you have to wait till the last minute to put things in. They are pretty good at accelerating. When I first came down from Jersey some 20 years ago, I worked with them in other areas of the state for 10, 15 years, so they understand what it's all about. So we'll just keep revolving.
Yeah.
And that money that goes insofar as the clean water doesn't impact if you have a water problem. There's another $3 million available there, so you can go drinking water, clean water, and CDBG all running at the same time.
All right. That's great.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
See you soon.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, good news. Next up, Walker, you got anything? Okay.
Excuse me.
Cecil. Garland?
Good evening. Materials for well filter replacement project, they were delivered on May 30th, and the filters were delivered the week prior. Work has started the week of June 3rd. We should have the well number 1 operating, and operating within 3 weeks of this date. Overall project scheduled for half completion is 23rd of August, and for substantial completion in September 22nd for final completion. The next scheduled progress meeting is set for June 20th here at 10 a.m. Stanford Electric came down and they fixed the electrical problem at well number 2, where the chemical pumps are now cutting on when the water pumps are supposed to be cutting on, so that problem has been fixed. Well production for this month has been 1.03 million gallons, which the previous month we produced 1.74 million gallons. On wastewater outflows, it was metered as the current month 1.81 million gallons, and the previous month was 3.26 million gallons. As far as that goes, that's all I have to report. I don't know if there's any questions I can take.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Okay, this time we're gonna open up our public comment section. You're limited to 3 minutes. Group must have one spokesperson. Anybody on that list over there? All right, nobody's got anything. We're gonna open this up for old business. We got the sidewalks. Irvin's got some quotes on it. Mr. Brown.
The first quote, from Tony Silver Concrete is for $5,390. The other one is from Jasper Kent for $7,500. And I did call, the list that the mayor had gave me, nobody, called me back. So those are only two quotes that I have. And that's, and this is what they'll do is, to cut out and remove all the way existing concrete sidewalk due to cracking, separation, to set up grade, compact power, refinish sidewalks to include installation of a new handicap access ramp, approximately 600 square feet. Total includes the concrete, materials, labor, and that's the one, $5,390. The other one was $7,500 sidewalk, just at remove and pour back Holloway concrete.
So, this in front of the girls around here building the sidewalk up there. So that's what we got a quote on fixing that. This is terrible. So, it's whatever y'all decide to do.
Is that anything down here on this one? Down
No, I
there?
didn't put that in there because I didn't give the other guy a chance to quote that, and I just didn't want to be apples to apples.
Gotcha.
But
So it's only the sidewalk directly in front of the road down here, it's not further down?
no, I can't mean, like, it's just where the pretty orange paint is up there.
Yeah.
All the way around that corner, where everybody parks at, handicap access, what should be.
Why don't we just go ahead and go with the lowest quote? I mean, he recommends, and then we'll just ask them to come quote, so let's just plan on starting it at the same time so it'll be cheaper.
I got two more jobs, and I mean, the quotes in there, it's cheaper than $7,500 for all of them.
Is it?
To fix David Evans' place, right in front of his door where the water keeps running in, and add a handicap access to in front of Means Garden on the side of it.
Okay.
So it's up to y'all. I mean, but Town of Enfield highly recommended.
I mean, this other guy that he quoted.
Yes, Tony Silver. I mean, I don't know the other person, and the state gave me the other people to call, but I guess they're busy. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I got the other quotes. If I need to get them before this, right now I can. But we can just put in a sewer. We'll pull them up. There's two attachments. There's three attachments on one. Yeah, that's how you gotta search it. I just put it, I did it, done. Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right. So, or we can just hold off a minute on that, and we'll go to the hydrants, and then we'll come back and vote on that. This is all one
So you turn the back to the one. So this is per hydrant.
Okay.
You're gonna have to deduct this much from Dean Street because you don't have to move
Okay.
that way.
Okay. All right, so how many was it total? 3?
Two that have to be totally replaced.
Okay. So on these hydrants that we got here, like she just said, 2 that have to be totally replaced, it's $4,230.02. And then one of them will be $900 less than the other because you don't have to move it. Because the one at Pine Street, it's in a bad location. So they were gonna have to go back and cut it in somewhere else, a little further down, so right where people run into it all the time. I think that's what's happened before. So. And then it says at the bottom in the fine print, please note additional investigation need to confirm location and water line main pipe type. This quote is based on the location and water line main pipe type as described in the Town of Bailey water system mapping files, not what might actually be in the ground. Parts do vary depending on pipe type and water line main location. So,
Do you remember, that one that was near the school on Pine Street, the one that we're totally gonna
gonna have to put like a shut off in there, so you can isolate it in case it happens again.
I was gonna say, yeah, this
Yeah.
summer,
Yeah.
since school's not in, I mean, there may be administrative staff, but, so this is a total quote?
Per hydrant, correct?
Per hy- is it
Yeah,
per-
except for the deduction down
Except for the
here.
deduction.
Per hydrant. That's what I'm supposed to
Okay,
say.
all right, thank you. This-
I got one question, are they running that through our vendor, or is that running through their vendor?
Did JP give you any details on how they're doing these hydrants?
He did not, but I
Just-
know he's gonna be back this Wednesday, so I can get him to.
That's fine, I mean, we can, I mean, we can wait till next month and then do it again, and then put it back in. I mean, we could vote on it, but I mean, I'd rather know every little detail of it.
Well, I can meet with them like last time you wanted to do that.
All right, so just go ahead and approve it.
If proven, I'll meet with them.
All right.
Where's the third one? Pine Street, Dean Street, where's that one?
Was it there? I can't remember. I have to look at my.
Or was it Green?
I think every one of them's got
One
names
of
to
them's on
them.
Pine, one of them's on Dean.
Okay,
Is it Green?
here's the one on
Okay,
Finch
Green.
Street. Finch Street, it's, $5,200 to do that one, 521627, so it's in the very back.
Oh, we only got one sheet, okay,
I don't-
okay,
I don't
gotcha,
have it.
gotcha, it's okay. I was just curious where the third one
This is the one that, this is a quote from 2017, so that probably ain't good. We better hold off on the special now. Just get the other two rolling. To do anything.
Visual, so.
So this is looking at 3
I
hydrants,
think it's two.
just 2.
Yeah, it's two. Because this is the third one on that.
Well, I say we just go ahead and move forward with it, and you're gonna meet with
I'll meet
them,
with JP.
and then
Just see what it's doing before he starts. If
Just go ahead
something-
and
if
approve
it's-
it,
If
and
something we
if
don't
there's
like,
something,
if
then we
something we
can-
don't like, we'll just.
we'll
pull
talk
off the
about it
next
in
meeting.
July.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing what we did last time we did,
You don't need a fire hydrant till you have a fire at your house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I said, we've been talking about this for a long time, and
Let's
so,
go ahead and approve it, and then I'll go over the details with him and make sure that what
okay.
he's talking about.
So this is for 2 hydrants, not 3, is that right?
Yeah, so we don't worry about it.
That's what he's trying to do.
Okay, I'll just say it. All right, so I make a motion that we accept this quote for $4,230.02 to do the hydrant repair for each hydrant.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
All opposed? Motion carries. Joe, give me 1 second while I get something.
Yeah, next one.
My mouth is all on, so I won't. Fixing haul the sidewalks. Well, the 3 I talked to him about would be $9,190. So So if we wanna let somebody quote them other 2 jobs, be fine with me. And just roll with this one. Just the one in front of girls right here, then we get them to quote them other ones. Well, I know what you're saying, but if not, somebody's gonna say, well, you didn't do it right.
Well, I mean, you can wait till, wait till you want to do whatever you want to do.
I'm just worried about somebody following up
Yeah.
there.
I just have a question about how it's gonna be built. I mean, we know it's got those tall steps. Is it gonna be rebuilt? Is it broken down to a certain level? Is it gonna be rebuilt in?
What he explained to me was he's gonna tear all the old stuff up,
Okay.
put rebar in, pull the old steps back in there, and then put a nice layer on top along with a hand layer. So I mean, it's not gonna be fixing those steps that's been there forever, because it's not feasible. The steps are fine, but yeah, so he's just gonna level it back out. You know, that's what he told me. I don't know.
Can I say something? This just me, but this has been tabled for a while, and I don't think you should get one contractor to do this and then bring another to this. Get one person to do it all and be done with it.
Okay, that's fine with me, yeah. That's fine. with me.
Especially if he already came out and told you exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, okay, if y'all wanna go with it and make a motion, and, I don't know, I just gotta, say, hey, here's 3 quotes. I don't make the rules, so, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you're right, it has been an issue for a while, so if you wanna do it, that's fine. Don't bother me.
I'd like to make a motion that we get Tony Silver Concrete to come in and do all the concrete work.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner White. All right, moving on to new business. Got a call from Bobby Liverman with NCDOT about 3 weeks ago, and 264 it runs through here. The state wants to make it a scenic highway, and he wanted to know if Bailey and Middlesex and Sims would be interested into making it a scenic highway, designated as a scenic highway. So
What would that mean?
probably put some signs up. Say scenic highway, home and country doctor museum. I don't know exactly what it means. I got Dewan to ask him if they were gonna put flowers out, actually make it a scenic highway, because that's been brought to my attention. Is it gonna be a scenic highway? Because, it's just flat land, I mean, it's not like Blue Ridge Parkway. But, anyway, long story short, I was told they were gonna plant some crepe myrtle.
He said flowering trees like crepe myrtle.
It'd be nice to have some right off the exit ramp, and, when you get on Bailey, you come into Bailey on 581, it'd be beautiful to have it there. Something to make the town look good when you're passing, so, oh man, looks good, let's stop. But anyway, that's all I know. Any kind of attention Bailey can get, good press, we need it, so.
Absolutely. I was just curious.
Oh, yeah, I understand. No, me too, because when he said it, I was like, wow, all right,
Sounds good.
yeah. I'm gonna read this resolution. Whereas the Bailey Town Council recognizes that the state of North Carolina has expended a great sum of money and has had thoughtful planning of the corridor that US 264 occupies in Nash County, and whereas US 264, an 11-mile stretch of highway that stretches from the Wake County line to Wilson County line with 2 interchanges, 2 bridges that cross Turkey Creek, 2 bridges that cross Buck Deans Road, and 5 other bridges that allow various roads to cross over US 264. And whereas the US 264 is an asset to the town of Bailey for both safety and the local economy. And whereas the Bailey Town Council is desirous of seeing the highway beautified and protected. And whereas it is the belief of the Bailey Town Council that the same will be best accomplished by the designation of the US 264 as a North Carolina scenic byway. Now therefore be it resolved that the Bailey Town Council respectfully requests the submittal of the North Carolina scenic byway study list application for the US 264 preliminary considerations as a route for the nomination to the North Carolina scenic byway program adopted this 5th day of June 2019. That's the day you sent the resolution over, so what's 17th, so. Anybody want to make a motion on that?
I make a motion that we accept the Town of Bailey, North Carolina scenic byway resolution.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. It's unanimous. All right. Next up, we had an issue where the town website billed a former employee, and anyway, long story short, in order to make sure stuff like that doesn't happen again, for small stuff like that, I'd like to get a town credit card, see if I can get it. That way we can pay for that website, stuff like that, or Staples online when I happen to cut a check or whatever. Probably no more than $1,000 limit, if that. I was just running by, it'd be easier.
I would just say, if you have a, $5,000, $10,000 limit, but each purchase is limited to $500, and that's how I do my business card.
Okay.
My assistant finance officer totally limited to $500.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, whatever y'all decide.
I mean, that would be the best way to do it.
But I mean, it would be a great help, if, like I say, especially with that website, and other stuff. Shouldn't have to call the bank every time we get a check. So, just we don't want to get out of hand with it, so, for sure.
Have we begun to do any kind of research on types of credit cards, anything like that? Or
No, I just called Sylvia up there at the Southern Bank and said, hey, can we get a credit card? She said to Thomas, sure, we can get you a credit card, but you're gonna need the minutes from the board approving it. So I mean, I haven't done any research, nothing. But I just figured we got everything else to, and it'd be easier to make payments when I had the main account too. So, but,
And if they don't do it, I know Chase will do that limit deal.
okay.
I never had no problem with Chase. I imagine they can do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I make a motion that we get a credit card for the town with
A $500 limit per purchase.
$500 limit per purchase.
What's the total limit?
I mean, that'd be set by the bank.
I would say
Okay, yeah.
between 5 and 10.
Yeah.
I second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. All right, next up, Logix. We got, what's the name of that company?
It's, right here is,
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. It's, Southern Software.
I think about a year ago, these people gave us a quote on our software thing, and I think there was a lot of positive discussion about it. And then Logix just sent a invoice to renew for next year. You have that too?
So, actually what it is the support for the year from the fiscal period July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. It'll be $13,201.22. That's for the support. Logix just got bought out by another company. They came down here a couple of weeks ago and gave me a quote. Some of the software that we use is a little bit, is an update or two behind. So there are 13 people on this, and when I say part, there's a utility software, a payroll software, a financial, so there's different branches to this software. But the utility one that we're on, they have 300 and some customers, they're out of Raleigh. There's only 13 people using that utility software that we're using now. 7 of them are scheduled for an upgrade. Okay, so that's only gonna leave like 6 people using this software. Now, in April 28th of this year, Logix was bought out by Edmunds GovTech, which is out of New Jersey, out of Northfield, New Jersey. So they are going to move at some point all their Raleigh up to New Jersey. So in my mind, I don't know, but in my mind, using this kind of out-of-date software, and there's only a few of us, it to me makes me think that they're going to get rid of this software, or they're going to make us upgrade. I do have a quote to upgrade. It's $5,100 to upgrade. There will still be a yearly maintenance amount that goes along with that, which will be part of the $13,000. The Southern software sent me a quote. Her name's Marcy. She sent me a quote and said if we needed more information, she'd be glad to come. Their quote is $28,985, but since the police department uses this same software, we get a 10% deal. So that brings the software down to $26,236. That doesn't count the $9,775 to install and train. Nor does it count the 1 year of support, which is $4,947. So your grand total to start with Southern Software is $40,958. So if we go with Southern Software, that's how much we're gonna have to come out with, like, right now. They do have a finance company or whatever, there's more details. But if we stayed with Logix and we upgraded, we would just upgrade to $5,100, but we would still have to pay the $13,000 for the yearly support. And just Debbie and I being in the office, the support is amazing. Anything we come up to, anytime something crashes, anytime something doesn't print, I mean, you call, I mean, we're on first name basis and they're like, yep, got it. What do you do this and this and this and this? So being in Raleigh and being already familiar with this a little bit and connected with some people. Debbie has financial people, there's some utility people. So that's kind of where it is now. If anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer, but.
I'd like for this guy to come here and talk to us.
Marcy.
For Southern, because
Okay.
when Tim presented it, it was like a big savings.
Yeah, it is, because basically what's gonna happen for your support yearly, it's only gonna be $4,947, where their support is $13,000.
Yeah,
So in that aspect, it is gonna be a big savings yearly for the support.
it's just a one-time upfront fee.
It's just the uptime, one time,
It's a savings of, now, they're gonna, if they're saving $40,000, $668.86.
Over how long?
That was, up to 2028.
Now, is that the same quote that I have here?
No, that's the old one, but I'm just kind of taking the numbers and changing them a little bit.
We did talk about it.
Because,
Totally,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, so it'll be 42, yeah.
Just get them, table this tonight and get
Yeah,
them
that's,
and talk to us.
exactly, and she said she would, but I didn't get this information until like Thursday. So
Okay.
she just said she'd email me the quote, and if we wanted her to come back, she would be more than happy to do a PowerPoint, a demonstration, actually break it down and explain what we have now and what she can give us. There is this thing with Logix too, and I can't remember if she had it, but they have this portal, like a customer portal where you can pay your bill right online, and as soon as I key in the meter readings and update the bills, you can actually go in and see your usage and see everything on your portal yourself, and you can pay it online right there. And statistically, when people go and look at their portal, they're more likely to pay their bill at that time.
So that-
And I think, I know Logix does, and when I was talking to Marcy, she kind of alluded to the fact that they did too, but I didn't get a lot of details from her.
Okay.
But that's with Logix.
I just think we need to wait one more month on that.
Sure, yeah, and that's fine, because like Debbie had just given me this bill, so I mean, we just didn't know whether we wanted to proceed with paying this if we weren't gonna have the support for the next year. Yeah, but we can just table it and move on.
We'll have to vote, so.
I mean, you wanna vote on
What's that bill
going,
do?
This
it's
bill,
like July 7th or something?
yep, July 7th.
They can't come in and, I mean,
Yeah, but sure, she said she'd do whatever, I mean, I could call her tomorrow.
We can have I guess we can have a special meeting for
I
that.
hate to do it, but it sounds like we're gonna need to do it if you ain't no support.
Yeah.
Unless you go 2 or 3 weeks no support.
Yeah.
You can do it.
I mean, you can pay the money and go with them for another year, but I mean, if we're
It-
gonna save money, get updated stuff immediately.
Yeah, I think it'd be best for both of them to come in and do a presentation.
Okay,
And we do it at a special meeting.
got it.
They both go side by side.
We're looking at dating.
I'm not going nowhere.
Okay, so the order of collections, this is supposed to be filled out once a year, or you can do it twice a year, twice at the fiscal year. And basically, this is just saying that I can accept taxes, collect taxes, starting for the fiscal year in July. I don't really think you have to read all that. I mean, it just talks about the deposition, and then this part really talks about what is the middle paragraph. And we have, I mean, there's been one every year that's been signed in a file, so it's just,
Okay, State of North Carolina, Town of Bailey, to the tax collector, Town of Bailey, you're hereby authorized, empowered, and commanded to collect taxes set forth in the tax records filed in the office of the Town of Bailey, and the tax receipts herewith delivered to you in amounts and from the taxpayers likewise therein set forth. Such taxes are hereby declared to be a first lien upon all real property of the respective taxpayers in the Town of Bailey, and this order shall be full and sufficient authority to direct, require, and enable you to levy on and sell any real or personal property of such taxpayers for and on account thereof in accordance with law.
Yeah. okay, I don't have a file for anything.
You got a bottle?
Yeah, there's one in the in the file cabinet there.
Can you get this?
Oh, you got one on your phone, does that count? I didn't know you had to swear me in, I thought.
It's all good. That's what it, they don't. That's what. Town of Bailey, to the tax collector of Town of Bailey, you are hereby authorized, empowered, and commanded to collect taxes set forth in the tax records filed in the office of the Town of Bailey, and in the tax receipts herewith delivered to you in the amounts and from the taxpayers likewise therein set forth. Such taxes are hereby declared to be a first lien upon all real property of the respective taxpayers in the Town of Bailey. And this order shall be full and sufficient authority to direct, require, and enable you to levy on and sell any real or personal property of such taxpayers for and on account thereof in accordance with law. Witness my hand and official seal this 17th day of June, 2019. Good job. All right, next up, we have what Mr. Dooley brought in. So we have to, I have to read you this resolution before the board can approve it. So this is for the $2 million grant for income-based replacement of the pipes. So Title I of the Federal Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 is amended as established the U.S. Housing and Urban Development Community Development Block Grant Program, and has authorized the making of grants to aid eligible units of government in funding the cost of construction, replacement, or rehabilitation of water and wastewater infrastructure. And the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, Division of Water Infrastructure, has delegated the authority by the state legislature to administer the water and wastewater infrastructure portion of the state grant monies received from the U.S. HUD CDBG program by Section Law 2013-360, Section 15.15 as amended by the Section 5.3, Section Law 2013-363. And whereas the town of Bailey has need for and intends to construct wastewater system improvements as depicted on the appended project map, inclusive of its legend entitled Town of Bailey 2019 Sanitary Sewer Improvements, inclusive of the following streets to extend funding will allow: Peel Road, Pine Street, Jordan Street, School Street, Oak Avenue, William Street, Elm Street, and Lee Street. And whereas the town of Bailey intends to request state grant assistance for the project. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of the town of Bailey, the applicant will adopt and place into effect on or before completion of the project a schedule of fees and charges and other available funds which will provide adequate funds for proper operation, maintenance, and administration of the system. That the applicant will provide for efficient operation and maintenance of the project on completion of construction thereof. That Mayor Thomas Richards, authorized official and successor so titled, is hereby authorized to execute and file an application on behalf of the applicant with the state of North Carolina for grant to aid in the construction of the project described above. The authorized official and successor so titled is hereby authorized and directed to furnish such information as the appropriate state agency may request in connection with such application or the project, to make assurances as contained above, and to execute such other documents as may be required in connection with the application. That the applicant has substantially complied or will substantially comply with all federal, state, local laws, regulations, and ordinances applicable to the project and to the federal and state grants and loans pertaining to it. Adopted the 17th day of June 2019 in Bailey, North Carolina. Before y'all vote on that, so there was a spot in here about will adopt and place in effect fees and charges. That's already been done. That was done with the first grant. We're up to that level. So this will be 100% grant. So we're not going to raise anything else for this, for sure. So I need y'all to make a motion.
Yeah. Make a motion to accept this resolution by governing body of applicant.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Chief Barrass.
Hey, good evening. I'll try to make this quick. I gave you all a copy of my bulletins for the month of May. Just to go over a few things. We had 3 checkpoints in the month of May, collecting ticket. And we wrote over 20 citations. Booze and News, it kicks off in July. Either myself or Corporal Callahan will be going down to Fayetteville to represent Bailey so we can get points and all of that for the Governor's Highway Safety Program. We had a big arrest this past 2 weeks ago, this week, Corporal Callahan? Was it 2 weeks, last week?
Last week.
Last week, we had a big investigation in town that's been going on with the bank, that local banks in this area were hit with skimmers. Corporal Callahan worked 2 weeks diligently on this case, dealing with local agencies, DMV, Raleigh Police Department, SBI, Secret Service. So she really went above and beyond. And it's kind of funny because she got stonewalled. And she got mad with me one day. We're not mad, we were having a discussion. She's like, I'm getting kind of blocked, I'm getting kind of frustrated. But then we ended up getting a lead on this guy for everything that we did, because we posted something on Facebook, a picture of the guy, and somebody got mad because we posted a picture of this guy on Facebook. And it wasn't even my picture, it was another agency's picture. But anyway, to make a long story short, Corporal Callahan did a really great job. So here's my thing. When we have an investigation in Bailey, if Corporal Callahan's investigating it, you better be careful, because she's going to make an arrest. You know? And if she makes you mad doing her work, that's great, because I want to get complaints. That means she's doing a good job. So I'm fortunate, and the town of Bailey is really fortunate to have Corporal Callahan. And then today she also made another arrest. She arrested 2 people in felony counts, so that's 3 felonies within 2 weeks. So she took 2 more people to jail today. So she's done a really great job these past couple weeks. And I know being a boss, people don't ever give compliments to employees, but I'm very fortunate to have her. So I'm gonna toot my horn with her a little bit, so that's why I invited her here tonight. But anyway, training, Officer King just went through VIDAR school. She'll be starting that hopefully this week. It's a really great tool that we've had. They've had that down there for 4 years and never used it. So when I came, I said, what is this? And then we discussed it, so hopefully she'll have her certification this weekend and shoots a laser, so she's gonna be writing a lot of tickets with that. It's a really great tool. Corporal Callahan's going to RMS training tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday. She'll be up there in Rocky Mount for the next 2 days. I've scheduled myself to go to radar school in July. The building, Nick 2 came and put new lights in the building. So we got new lights in both offices in the conference room. It's great. We can really see in there now. So thanks to him, and he fixed the back door so it won't leak anymore. Vehicle 11 went back in the shop. We got it back out. We had a little issue with this weekend. A gentleman came down, he fixed it, didn't charge us anything for it. So Corporal Callahan drove it today, so everything was running great with it. So knock on wood that everything will be fine with it. I mean, I hate to be critical or complain, but with EnviroLink, it's nothing against EnviroLink, but Debbie has, I forgot, it's either 3 or 4 requests we put in to get, was it 2 speed limit signs, the sign on Pine and O'Neill put up, and there's like 2 other stop signs on Hanover and Vance that we need to get fixed. But she's put 3 or 4 requests in, because when the tree fell over there by the school, it knocked the speed limit sign down. It's still down. There's a speed limit sign down on Oak Street that's still down. So I know the local streets that we're supposed to take care of, but we really need to get these signs up. And Debbie just keeps pulling these requests, and I keep asking her. She says, Steve, I'm putting the request in, I'm not getting anything from it. You know, then the other day when the truck demolished the bridge, you know, we had that big fire, that investigation where the person was found deceased. And so Bailey was out there, I was off. You know, we called EnviroLink to try to help clean up the mess. And it's like gonna take over an hour for somebody to come out. Thank God Cecil Hawley blocked the street and he tried to clean up what he could. But, you know, if we're spending, you know, I used to be in business, if we're spending X amount of money to provide a service, then if something like that happens, we need to have somebody jump on it. And I know you said about having the brooms and stuff, but if there's nobody here, that, I mean, we need to, if we call and something's major like that, somebody needs to come out and try to help us. But that's it with that. And like I said, it's nothing against him or their company, but I need to get those signs up and we need to get that done. We need to quit calling 3 and 4 times. Something needs to happen with it. The reminder, 9 p.m. routine I do on Facebook every night. My buddies, Lieutenant Fuquay, they just had a bunch of cars got broken into. They had a gang come out of Raleigh. 3 guys went in, all the cars are unlocked, broken the cars, so it happens. So that's why I post that every night about lock your cars, lock your garages, lock your house. It's just a reminder, but if it happens in Fuquay, it can happen in Bailey. Because you ever thought Bailey would get the skimmers, and you know, this guy got all that money off the skimmers. The dogs have been a horrible issue with me and Corporal Callahan. We dealing with dogs. The dogs have to be on a leash. If they're not on a leash, the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to write you an ordinance ticket for $10, and after that, we're going to issue a general citation over $200. We had somebody get bit by a dog the other day. I'm tired of the dogs running around. Dogs need to be on a leash, period. Nobody needs to get bit by a dog. Dog jumped on my police car the other day. Dog's not going to jump on my police car. Not going to happen. And then we talked about the bridge. We had 2 accidents at the bridge. One was Mr. Hawley. One was this weekend. FedEx truck just ran right underneath the bridge. He went right back like a sardine. Then he decided to go to Middlesex because he got scared and he didn't know what to do. But when we located him, I told him what I was going to do. So he got a couple of citations for leaving the scene of the accident. But I know it's not local people, but you know, it's just a reminder. And I talked to the mayor the other day, when you're coming south on Oak Street, and I talked to Mr. Hawley about this, that tree is growing over and it's blocking that sign, and we need to get that cut. Where it says welcome to Bailey, low clearance, that sign, that tree needs to be cut because it's blocking. I mean, you can still see the flashing lights, but it's blocking that welcome to Bailey, low clearance. That needs to be cut. But I showed that Mr. Hawley, I think I told you about that. Yes. I'm going to get a chance to look at it.
I'm just gonna grab a saw, okay? I'm just gonna go on down there.
And the only other thing is that I've talked about this before. I know we have the phone, but if there's an emergency, like the other day when the FedEx truck ran underneath the bridge, I mean, this guy drove all the way up to the police department, you know, and I was just happened to walk in the door at the time. Call 911. You know, don't run up to the police department. You need to get on the phone, call 911, and say, "This is what happens." And the emergency people, the dispatcher will dispatch us or somebody to the scene that, if something's going on. So, you can't call the police department, if it's not an emergency, then we'll get back with you. But if it's an emergency, call 911 and they'll do the dispatching. And lastly, Officer Garland, I talked to him this weekend, he's recovering. Hopefully by next week, he's gonna be in a boot, walking around. So I'm thankful about that. I've got 2 prospects that I'm gonna try to get on reserve. I'm talking with them now, so hopefully by next July, the next board meeting, I can present them to you. So I'm gonna try to hire 2 reserve people that I know that I wanna work with me. That's it, that's all I got.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, Vince isn't gonna be here tonight, he's not here, excuse me. And so, code enforcement, Kelly forwarded an email from Niles at American Legal Publishing. Niles was following up on an update to the town code that was submitted in 2016. He had requested clarification on a couple of items, but has to date not received any response. Vince spoke with him, let him know that he will review his questions and get back to him pending the update to the town codes comes with an estimated cost of $900 to $1,400 plus shipping. Prior to requesting approval for this update, I would like to do a review of the town code myself and ask the board of commissioners if they have any recommended changes as well. My goal is to have a consolidated list of recommended changes compiled by the end of August 2019. Second, on code enforcement, he sent a letter to owner of property at 5854 Main Street, had grass cut, owners cut grass. Sent a letter to Dean Street Processing to clean up trees, bushes along Stott Street, met with owner, answered questions. He plans to have cleanup completed by the end of June. And then he's making progress with the cleanup at East Coast Custom Body and Auto Sales. He will continue to monitor that. In the zoning part, he approved survey map for 2-acre parcel next to 581 self-storage. Property owner is Horace Meekins. Expect to see construction begin in the next couple months. This is, I don't know if everybody's heard of this, but Hardee's plans to build a new store right up there at 264. It's on this side of the bridge where they moved one of the houses out. They're having problems like with the sewer, but I think they're trying to work a way around it with sewer taps that are previously there and maybe even moving theirs. I don't know for sure. But Vince met with an engineering firm, Matt Gay, to answer questions regarding sewer options. So, and then he approved zoning request for Bonanza Grill. They opened today. Initial feedback is pretty good. And then received inquiry from Nash County Planning Office regarding internet sweepstakes parlor cafe. The county is taking surveys of towns to find out how many are in Nash County and what ordinances are in place. We have none that I'm aware of, nor does our ordinance allow them. Next planning board meeting is July 1st, 2019 at 7 p.m.
They turned out what Hardee's building down.
I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
If they tear it down, they can move the tap. No problem. They can transfer the tap.
Yeah, I think there's a couple taps already on that property that guy's got. So I don't know what they're gonna do. But I told Vince to get up with the guy that owns the land. I think his last name is Bailey.
Yeah.
And because he called me one day and get up with the engineering firm because I don't know.
I mean, I know that, it can be transferred,
Yeah.
because they did it, I think Alan Stone was working on that one time, and it can be transferred. It's just a paper you have to fill out. Well,
Okay.
it doesn't have to be done through an engineering firm.
Yeah, I think there's already a couple taps up there, so I don't know if they have to move it out or not. I mean, I don't know what the capacity will be or whatever, but
When Walmart was trying to come in there, didn't have
Yeah.
3 or 4 that did.
yeah, I don't know for sure.
They had enough to do Walmart, I thought.
Yeah. So it should be good on parties.
No, I think on the Walmart too, those homes that were along that strip, they had options on those properties. So if it went forward, they would be able to take the taps that were on those
Yeah.
residences. But, there's only one lot that they put your house on, the other ones people were living in, so.
Okay. All right. So that's all I got from Vince. Commissioner Bullock? Commissioner Daniels?
We still got some equipment we need to surplus. I really don't have the time to put stuff on Facebook. I'm not even on Facebook, but I guess I've been told that's the best way of selling things. If somebody can help me take the pictures and put them on Facebook, and let's just, get some of this stuff sold that we still have that we're not using. It's still sitting, it's been sitting 4 or 5 years.
So towns are selling stuff on Facebook instead of Good Deal?
Well, the Good Deal you got to go through the Good Deal and do that, but, I mean, this stuff ain't a lot of money, because it's wore out. I mean, we can take it to an auction company, but we got to pick it up and take it over there. You take a Good Deal, you're gonna be answering questions a lot. If you put it on Facebook or just put it in the newspaper,
Okay.
I mean, it's ever how, I don't know.
If you'll send me the pictures and the descriptions, I'll post it.
Okay.
That's all you have to do, just send it, text it to me, email it to me, it'll get up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just do that, and then they can just put a bid, send the bids to Kelly, and we'll go from there. All right. And got that. I got one thing that bothered me, and I found this out talking to, nothing against Firelink, this is not a Firelink deal in a way, but the engineer firm that we had to do the water filtration system with, I talked to the guy and I said, why didn't we change, we got new tanks up there, newer tanks up there, town number, well number 2. Why didn't we go in and just fix that, or either change the media or change the sand? He said, you could have done that. I said, well, why nobody quoted that to us? So we could have installed the new tanks, we could have changed the sand in the tanks and fixed it for $10,000. Now, this is what the guy who builds them tanks told me. And that just, and I said, well, why? I asked the sales guy, I said, why do they do this? He said, well, they do it because town boards don't know about it. That's exactly why they do it. The engineering firm takes advantage of the tank. And I did not appreciate that. As tight as we got Bill on money to get off moratorium, here we bought $60,000 worth of equipment, what I understand. The guy's coming in and fixing it. He said, now your well behind my house on Elm Street needed to be updated. The tanks need to be replaced. But the tanks, the main well could have been updated. And he said even the sand that was put in there, the media that was put in there, won't even pour iron. He said they didn't put the right stuff in there to start with. And I said, so I think we need to ask more questions going forward when we do anything, and just not go by one man's, say we got to do this because the state says we got to do this. I think we need to ask questions and and really get an answer from another engineering firm or somebody who's going to, I think, or go to the manufacturer. He said, call me. He said, anytime you got questions, call me. He said, I'll shoot you straight. And we could have saved some money. He said, the main problem is now you don't have your well updated. And it's a lot that needs to be done to the well, outside and inside. He said, it looks bad. And he said, you could have took $400,000 and fixed your well. I said, I know. But anyhow, the next thing with that is that when we had a storm last year, we rented a generator. It was about, I think, $1,000 rental. I'm just going off
for the
my head.
weekend it was. It was about $1,100.
$1,100. We had to pay how much freight? $1,400?
I don't know if that was total, but
I think it was $1,400 total. We didn't hook it up, so we didn't have to pay a hookup fee. If we paid a hookup fee, that would have been more. But why don't we next year, on next year's budget, is any of them wells, all them 3-phase or any of them single phase?
I'd have to get that answer back to you.
But if not, I can get an amp meter and go out there and get it, and I go at the motor shop in Wake Forest. Why don't we look at putting a generator at one of them? If one of them single phase, that'd definitely be cheaper to put it to single phase well. And then we'll have a generator there that comes on, and if we run on LP gas, and it will be cheaper in the long run than renting this big generator. Because the generator we rented was way too big. Because I asked the guy at the electric motor shop, he said, you don't need a generator that big for a town well. And we could buy a generator, if it's single phase, maybe something less than $7,000 to $8,000 had to put in, it'll be done. If it's single phase. But that's all I have, to talk about, and, I'm gonna try to get some answers on that, and see if I can get some numbers and y'all can, think about it. And the next thing is, I know this is urban business, but we need to go ahead and, before we move on the streets, I guess we'll have to wait for the, where we're gonna do this, improvement on our pipes. We're gonna have to wait, but we need to make sure that we do a geo report on the streets and know exactly what we need to do and how we need to replace it. If we need to take asphalt up, let these guys come out and test the streets. One guy told me it was $800 to do it, and I had another guy from ABC Paving, he told me it was $200 to $300. But that'd be a whole lot cheaper than going through our engineering firm, and these guys can tell us, hey, this is exactly what we need to do, how to fix this street, where it will last. So that's something we need to do before we, move forward with paving. I guess Walker's next on the list.
The only good thing, at least in front of our house, it may or may not matter, but the sewer's off the road, it's not in the road,
That's good.
but it's close.
That's good. That's it.
Okay. Commissioner Lynch.
So, last month when I went to the Upper Coastal Plain, all y'all are, if you're interested in broadband, there's a big push for the state to get that. But anyway, here's a handout for you. If you're interested, you can download an app to test it wherever you drive in the state, and it'll go into a database to let all these people who are working on the broadband know about that, copies. So whatever you do, it'll work. So it'll add to the information. That's it.
Commissioner Keith.
I don't have anything.
Mr. Powell.
Yeah, Alan had asked me to get a quote to get it back to Town Hall and paint it. I do have two quotes. One was for $1,800 and the other one was $800. And I told him it has to be some water damage back there because I don't know if the shingles are old or what, but like I said, one was $800 and one was $1,800.
Okay. So we do probably need to get come somewhere for sure.
Well, roof leak, but we didn't get that porch painted.
Okay.
That's bad. If you want to make a motion, I'll make a motion, but we'll
We're just gonna go with them too. That's fine with me.
Yeah, we're just gonna try this guy for 800, just let him deal with him and see what happens, so.
Okay. Something else?
But I'll just make a motion that, we accept the, Taylor's painting service for $800, and Urban, I'll talk to him and make sure that everything's being done right. He talked to them. They painted and wood replaced.
How much you getting painted for $800? How much?
That porch on that back. That's hard to believe. And the wood replaced. But that's why I'll let him talk to him. If he can't, we'll go with the next quote next month.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
I mean, you can't hardly build a doghouse for $800.
I know. That's what we're scared of. We want to make sure we let him talk to him before he starts. But we got to set the quote. It's $800. He's got it in writing.
Did you make that motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion. I mean, we can start on it and see, and Aaron can talk to him and make sure. If he can't do it, we'll just wait the next month and go with the next guy.
Well, I second it.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Got anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. So, the town owns the hardware store building now. I talked to an engineer, it was June 5th is when we took it over. And I talked to an engineer, and in order for us to be released of liability, I've been advised that it's probably a good idea to have an engineer come in and do a structural engineering report, and he can tell us if that building's caused any damage, or if it can be torn down, how it can be torn down. We've already got quotes on that, but just to make sure that the town is released from liability. So,
Mayor, You saw on Facebook, that person commented that, Robbie already had one.
Yeah.
Why is the town spending the money? So can you address that just for that person if they're not here or it's on camera or whatever?
Well,
Why do we need a second one? Why are we spending this money and that kind of thing?
well, we didn't spend any money to begin with. Robbie spent his money, but he paid $500 to see if the building could be preserved. And this is in order to tear it down, tearing the walls down, making sure it doesn't do any damage to the building to the right or to the left of it. And if any of the walls could be saved, in case you wanted to leave the facade on the front or any of the other walls that we can make like a pocket park or something. There's a big, there's two places, Roanoke Rapids and Bessemer City. Roanoke Rapids took the bottom half of a wall off of a front facade and left it up. It's just gonna ask the question, hey, could we salvage any of the buildings to make it look and have our own, make it look good and have our own identity here in Bailey instead of just knocking it down? And then like Bessemer City, they've knocked one down and they painted murals on the walls that are the buildings beside them, and then strung lights back and forth and put sod in there and had like an outdoor concert area. And then there's other places that have put concrete and picnic tables in. But I call like Mount Airy, that first one I showed on Facebook, they had $200,000 invested that in 2000, I think it was the year 2004. So the price has gone up. So we're just trying to see what we can do for the least amount of money. It might be something we have to work on in small steps. So you might just get torn down and make it look nice and do something with it. Because obviously the town of Bailey doesn't have the money to rehab that building. $500,000-$600,000 just to begin with. And so, and you can't do it with the chamber because it'd be like a construction loan or something like that. We don't want to incur those costs in the chamber, force them on.
I know I talked to a guy in Lewisburg that rehabbing a building, he got $1 million in it so far.
Yeah.
And it's not much bigger than that.
Yeah. I wish we could save it, but, yeah. So the engineer said he could do it for $1,500 and he could do it late next week, or it might be late this week, excuse me. So I just need somebody to make a motion to approve, because I know everybody's like, it's $1,500, but it's $1,500 well spent in case of a problem. It just says, okay, y'all did the right thing. And
I make a motion that we go ahead and do the $1,500 for a structural inspection of the building, hardware building, town of Bailey.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. The name of that company, if anybody want to know, is David Miller Engineering. He's the one that did it to begin with, Robert. So sorry to put that in.
So I make a motion that we'll go into closed session now.
All in favor? Hal?
I was,
You said? All in favor, say aye.
well, I said, what you want to go to session for, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, excuse me.
Is it personnel or is it?
Contractor, yeah, discuss, we're having a little meeting with Ireland here. All opposed, motion carried. All right, so, what we gotta talk about here before we close?
I ain't gonna serve.
So, we have come to the point now, of the town where, we feel really confident in, Debbie Baker as the CFO and Kelly Glover as the town clerk. We want to thank, Becky Smith for helping us out to get to this point and to get our budget for, budget year 2019-20. And I make a motion that, we, no longer need her services. We thank you, and, effective now.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I'm making a motion with adjourn.
What about the comp time deal?
It's already
Just say that, I'll tell the people, that you tell them.
Okay.
All right, so if somebody wants to close it out, close it out.
I already made a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
All opposed? Motion carries. Meeting closed. Thank y'all.